3
minutes,
recording?
you're just
2 minutes
Yeah.
and 45 seconds to
Stabilize
live.
the
You got it. You're there.
Are we on?
Yep.
We're on?
You, sir. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Well, we're on the
I'm gonna-
warm-up section.
Yeah, we're the
I'm
warm-up
looking.
section.
I'm looking.
scared.
I'm looking at YouTube.
So this is like the warm-up comedian. You got to
you
get the
on?
crowd
Dun,
ready.
Are you?
Did you see where Louis Anderson died?
Yeah.
I saw
I was
that.
sad
Yeah.
to hear that.
And
Yeah.
there's 4. So that's
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, Louis,
Betty White,
Betty White, and Pat Sajak, Saget.
Bob Saget.
Saget.
Oh yeah,
Saget.
Bob Saget. Yeah, 4. Somebody was out of
Who
turn.
knows? It might be Pat Sajak now.
Is it live on Facebook?
Yeah.
I haven't hit. It hasn't hit YouTube.
We got
either.
good quality, Mike.
There we
and,
go. Yeah,
you
we
got
are.
it all.
Do we have it?
You're golden, buddy.
Yep. I've got us. We're up on Facebook.
Mars is,
Just now.
little behind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
That's
on
all right.
YouTube yet.
Well,
Did we pay the bill?
Damn it!
what's the problem, Mr. Mars?
I don't know. It says it's going live in.
An hour and a
top of the
half.
hour.
Oh, you
No,
scheduled
no,
it.
no.
You scheduled it in probably, so it doesn't start.
You got a
till
minute
certain time.
and a few seconds.
Yeah, it says 1:32.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's going to start at 8 o'clock. I don't understand that.
Why did you do that? Yeah.
Well, I did. I saw
Imagine
that they made some more changes to where you could put that out there, and people can put little reminders up there. So
Yeah, you can't remind it or set it at
Yeah.
a time. But the big hand is on the
on the
12.
12.
And the little hand is on the.
8.
There you go.
Central.
Well, and talking about
Man.
Meatloaf passing, he's going to be in one of our stories today. And that
Meatloaf
was,
is?
Well, that was planned before he passed.
Seriously.
Really?
The premonition that you had.
So I don't know. Hopefully not.
Conrad, you're
don't,
scaring
write
me.
no- don't put me in none of your
I was just
stories.
going to say, because I think that you had me dead earlier this morning for some reason. Blood sugar or something.
Yeah. Well, because Meatloaf was in one of the movies we're going to talk, and a movie car that's coming up for sale here.
Oh,
Okay.
So we're gonna
that's
talk a
why
little
we
bit
did.
about
That's why
that
I.
whole music piece that you've
Oh,
been doing.
my
that
God.
You didn't
But he put
know.
the wrong one on.
He's got to
No, I had
Edited it.
edited it the wrong way. And
Oh, boy.
It's just whatever.
Come on.
So 30 seconds.
You bet.
What?
Yep.
30 seconds.
That means absolutely nothing, and you know that. Because
Oh, wait.
if there's a. Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
We've had some sort of a mechanical failure. 30 seconds to
We got a
go.
flat
Gentlemen,
tire.
start your engines.
Oh, boy.
Our
You know-
guest is going,
you know-
what did I get on?
I will tell you that what worries me is Mars over there on his phone. With
Well,
it.
He's texting somebody looking for help.
Ainsley.
Well, hold on just a moment, okay?
Ainsley, if you're listening.
No,
Just
I'm not
hold,
gonna-
Here we
hold
go.
on.
We need to wake Ainsley up.
Howdy and hello. It's the In-Will Time Show,
8
your
a.m.
place to go for entertaining talk. Just ahead, Jake Fisher joins us to talk about rating driver monitor systems. I'll review the Mercedes-Benz 43 GT AMG DEFG HIJ.
That thing needs a driver monitor.
Conrad has the cruise-in calendar, and we'll have This Week in Auto History. It's all coming up. Plus, we'll have the stories making news headlines this week. Just ahead on today's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Otto, the Swirl Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey, we need more Jeff, Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Thanks so much. We always appreciate it. And please tell your friends about us. And we've got some exciting things to tell you about soon that Mr. Mars has been working on for months. He just hasn't bought the right wires to make that happen yet. But
Are
whatever.
we getting more audio?
We had a consult with a guy in Pennsylvania last night, so we're chasing it down.
All right. Well, chasing it down.
It's
okay.
amazing what the federal prison system does for us.
You say this is almost 12 years into it. We're still
11.
chasing it down.
You don't need to make us go any faster than we already are.
Yeah,
but thank
please
you.
don't.
All right. Our first guest this morning, Mr. Jake Fisher. He's the Senior Director of Auto Testing at Consumer Reports. Jake, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. Good seeing you guys.
Yep, you too. All right. Driver monitoring systems, and I think instead of me trying to ad-lib my way and screwing it all up, and I'm just going to read this, okay? It's just the first paragraph of this press release, which got us all going, let's delve into this just a little bit. As car companies offer more features that automate critical driving functions, Consumer Reports has decided to evaluate whether new vehicles also have driver monitoring systems. that do a good job of encouraging safe driving. These systems use computers and onboard cameras to determine whether a driver is looking toward the road while the vehicle automates some steering, braking, and acceleration functions. If not, the system will sound an alert and potentially restrict the use of information. So now, Jake, you guys are actually grading these things. Is that correct?
Well, so it's one of these new emerging technologies on cars that is totally not understood, right? I mean, everyone's talking about, autonomous driving and full self-driving and semi-autonomous driving or whatever that means. I'm not even sure. But I mean, it's systems like autopilot, right? Mm-hmm. These are systems that can steer and do speed control. Well, the dirty little secret is that half of the vehicles on sale today now offer those types of systems that can steer and do speed control. Half of the models. Yeah, we did some research last year, and that's what we found.
I know that every test car that Mr. Mars and I get to drive out of the press fleets around here, that those almost every one that we get, now granted, they are pretty much loaded up, but every one of those cars, for the most part, have some sort of automation feature on them. Whether it's distance, but with the car ahead of you when you hit the cruise control,
radar cruise,
or
the automated braking system now,
and lane keeping assist. Lane keeping assist, they could just do away with in my book, but
that's not what you're testing in this instance.
So this is really interesting. So obviously you're driving the newer cars, right? The cars that are getting redesigned.
Yep.
The ones that don't have it are the ones that are due for a redesign, and when they do get redesigned, they're going to wind up with these types of automation systems. And you're right. We're throwing out terms like there's adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and all these kinds of things. What we're really talking about is you probably experienced those things where you get towards that line and it kind of jerks the wheel back in.
Right.
What we're talking about is those ones that just continue to steer and follow the lane lines. So that's really automating the driving as opposed to, waiting until you get past those lines and jerk back. So these types of systems, when it's really automating the steering and automating the speed control, these are really, really prevalent. And like I said, 50% of the cars, they offer these types of systems. Now, we have done a lot of research and we have rated these systems. We have graded these systems. We've been doing that for about 2 years. And we've been talking to consumers, and while those lane keeping systems like you talk about where it kind of jerks that wheel, nobody likes those. A lot of people just shut these off. But the ones that actually steer, like autopilot, people do like these. And these are things that people say, hey, this is great. I took a long trip and I feel refreshed at the end of the day. I don't have to really concentrate really hard. But there's the problem. You don't have to concentrate really hard. And people using these systems can easily get distracted, especially when you're like everyone else where you have a computer in your pocket that has lots of fun things to do on it.
Or you're our
that's really the
you
concern.
want to take a nap.
Yeah, I was
or
saying
you hear that
time,
bing that you got to text.
Well, and that happens. People do fall asleep because it makes driving. Look, when you're driving on a long, boring, straight road, it's pretty boring. But when you don't even have to steer anymore, it gets even more boring, and people do fall asleep. Now, most vehicles, the way they tell if you're still paying attention is if your hands are on the steering wheel. And I don't have to tell you guys, I mean, you have your hand on the steering wheel. It doesn't mean you're looking at where you're going, and it doesn't even mean you're awake.
So is that a touch sensor on the wheel?
Yeah, they do it in two different ways. They do it as a touch sensor on the wheel, which is kind of works okay, but the problem is that you got gloves, you're not in the right spot. The other way they do it is torque on the wheel. So just a little bit of a weight on the wheel. That also is a problem because your hands might be on the wheel, but it may not sense you're giving it torque, which is weird because if it's steering, why wouldn't you give it torque? That's what Tesla uses, which can get annoying even if your hands are on the wheel.
Right. There's also a commercial on with General Motors where they're clapping and they're taking the hands off the wheel and driving down the highway. To me, that is the most dangerous thing to show people, in my opinion, because
let's not pay attention.
You're clapping to the music on the radio, or you're opening up
dancing
a soda.
Yeah,
exactly. To me, that's inviting danger. That's inviting trouble.
So this is where the technology is, right? I mean, people they're trying to sell this as like, hey, you can do something else while you're driving. Truth is, you can't. You still got to pay attention. You're right. You still got to be paying attention where you're going. So there's really two ways right now that we're seeing of telling if the person's paying attention. One is, are the hands on the wheel? Two, are their eyes on the road? And what we're saying is we're drawing a line right now, and we're saying you got to at least make sure that someone's eyes on the road while you use these systems for us to give credit for the system for what they do. Now, ideally, you should have your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel.
So in the eyes on the road function of the monitoring system, does it also recognize not just that the face is aiming forward, but that the eyes are physically open?
You got it. You got it. These are looking at the driver's eyes, looking at where they're directed. I won't say that they are perfect, but they're the best that's out there right now. I've used systems from General Motors and Ford pretty extensively, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not so annoying that you can't go and change your radio station or something like that. But if you do get distracted, it gets you back in the game. It alerts you. There's a light on the dash. If not, there's an audible alert. If you really are asleep, someone will actually slam on the brakes and jerk the car trying to wake you up. Huh. If you really abuse the system and you're past that, it'll stop the car.
It's a great way to wake up.
Bounce your head off
it gets your attention.
Steering wheel, bunk.
A little, it's not slamming on the brakes. It's just kind of like jerking the car.
Get your attention. But it's interesting because like the commercial that Jeff's talking about, I've seen that same commercial, and the people are doing that. But what you got to pay attention. They're on a very long, wide open stretch of road. There's nobody else around them. There's no other cars around them. There's nothing that could go wrong like you would in a normal driving. So it's kind of...
But they're still awake and staring kind of forward.
No, they're looking at each other and slapping and clapping and dancing around. So, it's very disingenuous, I would say, to present it that way.
The level that the Auto Cruise delivers,
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, there's this difference between the marketing, which is kind of like, hey, it's a self-driving car, I could go do something else.
Yeah, that's right.
And the reality.
Yeah.
And the reality is, like I said, on these systems that do allow you to get your hands off the wheel, and I'm not saying that it's safer to have your hands on the wheel. It's safer to have your hands on the wheel, too. But on those ones, it only allows you to take your hands off the wheel on those kind of straight sections of highway where there's not a lot of stuff going on, as long as you're looking where you're going.
And it also has to have a very defined lines in the road because visually the car is monitoring those lines on the road to keep it straight. I know Don had talked about one he drove, and when it came into a construction area, it was,
lost.
It communicated to him, you need to be driving, grab the wheel kind of thing.
And what is this showing our younger generation? I got a granddaughter that's going to be driving in a year or so. All this autonomous stuff, do we want them to get used to that, or do we want them to have the physical feel and drive of the car?
So, Jake, let me ask you this. If, you guys are testing all this stuff, what is the breakdown on this so far, those cars that are equipped with these assist systems?
And driver monitor systems,
Yeah, sure. So really, there's only 2 systems on the market right now that are, in our test, are doing an adequate job of making sure that someone's eyes are on the road as they use these automation systems. And that is Ford's Blue Cruise, and that's General Motors Super Cruise. They're at least making sure someone is looking where they're going if they're using the systems.
So what about the BMW Traffic Jam Assist?
So there is a camera on that system, but after 40 miles per hour, it stops operating.
What?
So it only operates below 40.
Why did they do that?
We'll have to ask them that.
Well, it's BMW. Their blinkers never work either.
Well, so I mean, the BMW system, I mean, it's designed just in that stop and go traffic situation. But I mean, I've used it before. I was on, stop and go, and suddenly, I'm going 44 miles per hour before I have to slow down again. Then it pops out of that system. Really,
that can be annoying in itself. Yeah.
Now we've also
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it gets confusing, and it pops out of different modes. I mean, the truth is this automation system. I just want to go back to what's the point of this, right? I mean, I love to drive, and when give me a curvy road and stuff, I'm not going to complain my automation system isn't working on these curvy roads because I want to drive on that. Where these really come into play, where they make sense, is one, that terrible stop and go traffic. That nobody wants to do anyway. They actually work really well in those systems. And the other one is, I'm sure you guys got some out there, long, straight, boring road, nobody around. Okay,
Lots of them.
You know,
West Texas.
Yeah, 300 miles of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So
There you go.
let me ask you the blaring question. That is about the Tesla system, because we've gotten a lot of press on the Tesla
Here
system.
locally.
Crashes, and people have lost their lives because they weren't in the seat.
Yeah.
How does the car continue to go forward if there's nobody in the seat? So those kinds of things. How do you guys rate that?
Well, I mean, it's just what you say. I mean, this is a system that is extremely capable. And in our tests, when we look at the steering systems and speed control, it's the most capable. And what that means is there is this element of over-reliance where if this thing is doing a good job for an hour, you know, you might have your attention slip. And this is a system, they do have cameras in their vehicles now. But we've tested them, and they do not do a very good job of alerting the driver if they're not looking where they're going. In our tests, we could cover up the camera, and it still allows me to go my merry way. If I look away, my hands are on the wheel, it's not warning me I'm not paying attention. Because it doesn't have that safety backup to help the driver stay paying attention, I think that could explain some of these situations that we're seeing where people over-rely on it and their attention wanes.
It's an emerging technology that just isn't quite there yet.
Right.
Well, in listening to what you're saying, though, are we creating, you know, for a while we were worried about distracted driving, don't text and drive, blah, 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 blah. So are we creating a scenario where as we become more reliant, just out of habit on automation systems, that are we setting ourselves up for
failure
problems? I wouldn't say failure, but killing
no, you're setting, I'll say failure. We're setting, I mean, it is, we're putting people in an impossible situation. I mean, do you remember the Uber crash that was in Arizona a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like the canary in the coal mine, right? I mean, this driver was using this, you know, developing automation systems, autonomy system, whatever you want to call it. And hour upon hour by themselves in the car at night without really much to do other than making sure everything's okay. Of course, you know, I mean, we're humans, you know, hey, you know what, if I tell you your job is to watch this paint dry for the next 4 hours, and then if your eyes gaze off the paint, you know, you're going to,
what's it pay, Jake?
Explode.
Yeah. No, but if you think about it, you know, you're right, because like West Texas, literally, you get out there on the other side.
Hours.
Yeah. 300 so miles of nothing but Interstate 10. And, you know, if you get to thinking about it, well, my car, I've got radar cruise. So
run
if I
out
get
of
too
gas
close,
before you need to take an exit.
It's not going to run into somebody. It'll slow down and even stop if needed because I've got the radar cruise on and I've got lane things to keep me in my lane. What do I need to do?
Well, so this is exactly it. This is exactly, because you could be in that situation, and these automation systems, you could probably cover 3 hours without ever having to put input in the steering or the brake pedal and then suddenly there's a construction area, and this car can't figure out exactly what's going on and what that flagger's doing, and maybe the truck is parked in a weird location that it's not used to and programmed for. That's the issue.
And you fell asleep 4 miles ago. And so that's why we're trying to monitor the driver. Because, you know, the cars actually do basically what you're saying is the car does a very good job of monitoring the road until something goes weird. Now the car is actually monitoring the driver, looking for something to go weird. So in your testing right now, you said basically there were two, GMs and Fords. Who is next out with a pretty well integrated system?
So there's a couple of ones in the works. Stellantis, they have talked about systems that would also have camera based. They're not in the market yet, so we haven't evaluated them. There's Nissan is also talking about doing things like that. And I think all the automakers really understand this is a direction that we need to go. We're currently giving, well, I shouldn't say currently, but next month we're announcing our top picks. We're going to incorporate these scores at that point. And we've already communicated to the automakers going forward for the next couple of years. We're going to start actually removing points to automakers that have these systems that don't have a way of making sure the driver's looking where
like
they're
a
going.
good,
and use the
like a
systems.
good, better, best kind of thing.
Well, rewarding the technology installed in the vehicle.
But that brings up this point. So
Yeah.
you're in the vehicle and you do have an accident. How is that translated through insurance? Is there a
Liability-
well, yeah. Is there liability? Point the finger at the computer. They did it, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, the way all of these systems are explained is that the driver needs to pay attention. Now, it's hard to do, like we talked about, but the point is that they're very clear. They're not that capable. The driver needs to look where they're going, and if they're not, ultimately it's on them. And I think just right now we're actually having some investigations looking at some of these automakers, but they haven't done anything illegal. There's no law about not putting these systems on the cars.
Let me ask the extension of that point is, do you believe that the system monitoring the driver is also capturing data at that point when the airbag goes off for the future liability? And I asked that because I work for General Motors and I did accident investigation back in the late 80s when airbags first came out. And it's amazing the amount of data is captured at that point when the bag pops.
So I love you guys. That's a great question. That's a terrific question. And then actually, that is something that we're also asking when we're actually looking at these systems. We see that as a horrible, slippery slope. And what we have done as we're asking these systems, we do not want any recording. We don't want any of that information going back to the anyone else. The cameras should be for the driver to keep them engaged, not to have video footage or pictures to be used against them.
Right.
Or just pay more on a policy.
Well, that's a lot of information. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Really?
Happy to be on.
That was a great overview of how the systems work.
Yeah. Jake, thanks again. We appreciate it. Let's stay in touch. It's consumerreports.org. We thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Bye now.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Very cool.
That was cool.
Very cool.
Learn something new
when an
every
airbag
day.
goes off, you got to think of the tie back is because you got to remember one of the things that happens if the bag deploys and on OnStar, it immediately communicates to OnStar that a bag deployed. Well, believe me, there is a stream of data that goes along with that, and how easy would it be to integrate this data to that?
What about a backseat driver?
Oh gosh,
There's that.
this is the backseat driver.
I want to do the cruise-in calendar. That's what I've got on the list to do next.
Okay. Coming up here is a couple of weeks is going to be the new location up here at for Coffee and Chrome, right?
Avalon Diner.
Avalon Diner.
Yeah. Over at the Fountains in Stafford.
On the very south side of the Fountains in Stafford. But yeah, good parking. Driving by there this morning, you could see there's lots of space. So that's going to be the first Sunday of the month, so coming up in February.
Right.
Also on the 29th is the Houston Cruise and Shine meet in Guadalupe Park. Going to meet up there and drive down to Herman Park. On the 30th is Freddy's Car Show from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Freddy's Steak Burger in League City. Saturday, February 5th is going to be Come Show Off Your Cool Vintage Car out in Cold Spring, the Cold Spring Courthouse Square. And then the Winter Conroe Swap Meet, February 18th, Lone Star Throwdown. But the big thing coming up is... starting Thursday? Starting Thursday.
Open to the
Houston
public
Auto Show.
Thursday, yeah. And as a matter of fact, Houston Auto Show, we're going to have a set up there, and we're going to do a special broadcast on opening day, Thursday, and it ought to be good.
You're throwing out the first pitch. Opening day.
Wednesday, actually.
First
opening
pitcher of
day.
margaritas.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. The 2021 Mercedes-Benz 43 GT AMG. It's a lot.
Doodah.
Okay, so available trim levels on this four-door sedan: GT43, GT53, GT63, and GT63S.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I reviewed the GT43. It's a compact sedan, according to the government. I'd call it as a mid-size sedan, but that's just me. 4 passengers, because the back seats are just
Buckets.
twos. So what they used to call a 2+2, remember that? Yeah. Okay. All new trim level for this year is the 43. Sleek, aerodynamic four-door sedan with fastback hatch and forward-leaning grille. Yes, it does have a hatch back there. It's kind of cool.
Neat.
Skinny wraparound taillights, huge Mercedes-Benz emblem in the center of the grille.
Huge.
Small emblem / vent behind the wheel openings up front. Black wheels look evil in a good way.
Yep.
I really like that
Menacing.
look, especially on a white car. What I like, the overall badassness look. I put that on there. I even wrote that.
Part of
Is
that's
that a technical term?
It is.
Is it with 2 S's?
Well, but part of that's the stance of the car, because you think SUV that it's going to ride high. That rode low on the wheels and tires, and they really filled up the wheel.
But you
wells.
call it an SUV. It's a sedan.
What could use improvement? Nothing. High interior highlights.
Oh.
Yeah, because I need to
No, this
continue
is go.
I'm sorry?
Go.
Would you like to? Here, you want to do this?
Yeah,
Nope,
give it to
not
him.
in the least.
Leave it to
Okay.
him.
Gorgeous, high bolstered seat. It's really nice. Real wood accents that wrap around from the dash to the doors. Ultra high-tech screen that goes from the instrument cluster right on over to through the infotainment system. It's all one great big long screen. Cargo trunk room limited to fastback design. And what I liked about it, the sexy look of the interior, it really was hot looking. Could use improvement. Confusing layout and complicated touchpad controller. I just do not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my age. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of all those things. But dude, that touchpad thing, Lexus has it as
Just
well.
don't like it.
Well, the problem is that you have to look where you're actually moving the cursor on the screen and hit that. It's like takes your eyes off the road. Now you're looking at the screen. It just is a
The
complicated
distraction.
thing. Yeah. 3-liter inline 6-cylinder with the twin turbos for 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic transmission. 20 on the city is what it's rated. Highway is 25 for a combined of 22. I got 23.3 over 356.8 miles. What I liked about it, not too much power, but just enough.
Just right.
It was just right.
And it's good
Because if
fuel
you
mileage
want
for that
over
kind of power.
600 horsepower, that's that big thing that I was telling you about earlier.
The 63
The 63S. Yeah. No, It was Mercedes-Benz. You're going to BMW.
Sorry.
All right. Ride and handling is adjustable. What I liked about it, the German quickness of its steering and handling. What could use improvement? Interior noise.
Really?
Now, you would think that this great big 4-door sedan wouldn't have the interior noise. It's almost as noisy as my 21-year-old Corvette on the inside.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yep.
And
Have you driven this yet?
No.
Yeah. Well, hope you do, because I think that you'll agree with me. It's loud in here.
Man.
And a Mercedes. You
turn the radio up.
wouldn't think that, would you? Anyway, pricing. Sitting down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Base trim price is $89,900. Price is tested $97,475.
Well, $8,000 spread from prices tested to base price.
$97,475. Base model price, by the way, is $89,900. Same as the base trim price, because the trim is
No, this is
the
a pretty
level.
high level model.
Well,
AMG.
Yeah.
okay, so competitors, the Audi S7 starts at $84,400.
S7.
S7.
Yeah, which is the level above the A7.
BMW 8 Series Grand Coupe for $85,000, or the Porsche Panamera, Jeff's car, $87,200.
And it's all right there in the price range. That competitive price point
So,
of just short of $100,000.
and with tax, it's over $100,000. So that's my review of the 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT 43.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being you, and don't go changing to try to please me. Billy Joel's coming to town.
we won't.
Well, I know that. Then don't.
No, I didn't know Billy Joel was coming to town.
Yeah, I saw an ad on the TV last night that Billy Joel's coming to town.
You're not going to go see Adele?
I'm not going to go see Adele. Darn. No, not my cup of tea.
Okay.
But I would go see Lady Gaga.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
I really like her a lot.
She's
You know
an
why?
amazing artist.
Because he dresses like her.
It's her brand of red pumps he has.
Don't tell anybody.
The Lady Gaga red pumps.
Oh, Lord. I guess it's time for us to take a break. In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.